It is good to have you back. This is Democracy and the Rule of Law. Let's go to our next topic for discussion, where reactions continue to trail the defection of the Cross River State Governor Ben Ayade from PDP to APC. Some members of the party in that state have disowned the governor for leaving leaving the PDP to the All Progressive Congress. Professor Ben Ayade had on Thursday decamped to APC with the sole reason, according to him, to help President Muhammadu Buhari realign Nigeria to a better footing. Now, addressing journalists in Abuja over the matter, leader of the delegation from the state and former governor of the state, Leon Imoke, said though the governor's defection is regrettable, yet it does not affect the party structure in the state. He frowned at the ingratitude shown by Governor Ayade, who he said enjoyed all the support and won all elections under the PDP, urging party members not to filter in faith, and as there will still be waxing stronger in the state. The former governor, however, affirmed unwavering commitment towards serving the interest of the good people of Cross River State, believing that the state and the party will be great again. Now, that is a positive thinking. Now, I still have Barrister Destiny Taken, Barrister Elvis Asia, and of course our virtual guest, Barrister Inyobon Udo, and shortly we'll be joined by a broadcaster and a politician from Calabar, Cross River State, Friday Ayade, popularly called Last Prophet. We'll bring him in when the time is right. But what does this all mean? I mean, the past 1 year there have been quite a number of defection, mostly from the PDP to the APC, but few have actually been surprising like this, considering the fact that this governor in question, talking about Ben Ayade, is in a state where PDP is a powerhouse. I mean, one of the few states where PDP still has a stronghold, and the ruling party in that state, I mean, we all know at the federal level, APC is the ruling party, but in Cross River State, PDP is the ruling party there, and a very strong one at that. And how do you leave a ruling party and go to opposition? That's just something not aligned.
I don't think this is surprising. In the last couple of months, the signs were there. You know, even though he said, "Oh, he didn't have an issue with the PDP," it's not true. There are video recording of him in meetings where he expressed his dissatisfaction with the way the party was running. Where he's, in fact, at the last one about 2 months ago or so, where he said clearly that, you know, if the injustice persists, he will have no choice. So at the end of the day, I'm not really surprised. And then on the other hand, I'm also not surprised because, I mean, this is typical of a Nigerian politician. Right now, he's at the tail end of his second term. He's looking at what he can get in 2021 and 2023, sorry. And look at the reason he gave, which is really very, very sad. The fact that he has seen some nationalistic posture from the president, he wants to assist him. It is sad to hear that, and nobody, not even the dead person will believe that. The only thing that is clear is that he has some personal agenda. He has been made to believe that he can get something, just like they convinced the man from Ebonyi State. You know, so it's not surprising. The only thing that's surprising for me is that I'm of the opinion that, you know, when a governor leaves a political party for another party, I'm of the opinion that he should lose his seat. I'm not saying that the Constitution has said so expressly, but it is implied in the Constitution. Because if you look at the Constitution, it is the party that is elected. And the Supreme Court has decided
that means you're in that seat on the platform of that party. The Supreme Court has said in so many cases. In Amechi's case, in so many cases, the Supreme Court has said that the vote that that is given on the election day belongs to the political party. And there is no independent candidacy. You cannot win on the platform of the party and take the glory and victory to another party. It is clearly inconsistent with the intention of the Constitution. And for me, that's the only problem. I'm not surprised that they are moving anyhow. That's what they do. But what I'm surprised about is that nobody has pushed to ensure that a governor who leaves a political party loses the governorship because the vote was for the party. It doesn't make sense legally speaking, it doesn't make sense morally speaking, it doesn't make sense whatever parameters you want to use to judge it. For you to live with the victory, the spoil of war, and then you give it to somebody else.
It is absolutely wrong.
Okay, now, before I come to you, let's go to one of our virtual guests. Let's bring in Friday Ayade, popularly called Last Prophet. He's a broadcaster with Hit FM. Of course, he's a politician too, because he contested at the last election for the Cross River State House of Assembly. Good to have you joining us, Last Prophet. Now, what is the mood of the people in that state? Were they surprised? Were they angry? What is the situation there?
Thank you very much, Solomon, my friend. Cross River State, permit me to use the word that we are mourning at the moment. Yes, the entire state, we are yet to come out from the shock that the state that has been PDP all the way since the inception of democracy. Cross River State has been PDP all the way, and for us to come to the realization that all of a sudden Cross River State is going to now be playing from the other side is a bit funny and it's shocking. And reasons given, it's not taken seriously by the people. I mean, how do you judge the governor who said that, he was asked, what is the immediate benefits of your movement to the state? He said, we should look at it from the nationalistic approach, that, it doesn't play local. I mean, it's funny, and we are yet to come out of the shock.
Issues between him and the party in the state. I mean, because as the governor of the state, you're more or less like the unofficial leader of the party in that state. Were there issues? Were there frictions?
Yes, there were issues, but the governor himself has said he didn't leave because of the issues. But there were issues of him losing touch with the delegate lists. The party, the state, and the local government congress happened, and it happens that he was being shortchanged, and he's saying that the party at that level is not being fair to him for the fact that he is the governor of the state. So there were issues before he left. So if he's telling us there are no issues, then he's not being truthful. There were issues before he left.
Okay, so for a neutral like you're neither PDP or APC, even though you wanted to defect to APC at some point itself. So for what does it mean, especially for neutrals like you?
Okay, to put the record straight, this might be one of the first platforms that I'm saying it. I'm PDP. Yeah, I've resigned from SDP. That's about 7-8 months ago. Yeah, so I'm PDP. Now, for me, I would say that the governor leaving the party is a big loss. It's a big loss for the PDP. But I feel there's going to be some sort of battle in 2023. It's not going to be business as usual. So Cross River State is going to see politics now. Before now, it has always been, the governor said, it has always been, this is how, the system has been. There have always been unpicking of candidates. There's never been a proper election. Trust me, even when I contested in 2019, I knew I was not contesting against a candidate. I knew I was contesting against the system. All right, so it has always been what the system wants or how the system wants it to be. But right now, in 2023, it's not going to be business as usual. There's going to be proper election. And I know that some of the people that has moved with the governor is because of their appointments, because they don't want to lose their seats. Some of the commissioners, some of the appointees, the SAs, PAs, and all, even some of the local government chairmen, it's because they don't want to lose their seats. But before 2023, you will see them coming back. You will remember this interview, and you will see them coming back to the party.
The governor and his deputy will be now, with the fact that they are from two different parties. The deputy governor refused to defect with him. So how do you see that working out for the state?
Okay, unofficially, though, it has not been made official that the deputy governor is not moving or they don't move with the governor. But there were rumors that the deputy governor has said he is of the PDP. All right. So, but for me, I think we are almost going to see what's played out in one of the western states where the deputy governor refused to move with the governor. But for Cross River State, I foresee that not staying for too long. Because we are in a system, or we operate a political system here where the people in power is totally in charge of the people that have put them in power. That's how we operate here. That's the system. And I think it's something that we're fighting to change. And that is, until we change that, we can have a proper and a viable political system or political leadership in Cross River State.
Last prophet, just stay with us. Let's go to Barrister Inyobong. You are a legal practitioner and you follow the politics very closely in that state and also being a resident. How do you see the politics? How does this change the dimension and the structure of the politics in that state? Barrister Inyobong.
Yes, thank you so very much, Solomon. Well, unfortunately, the Constitution is silent on what happens when the governor or the deputy governor defects, becomes or cross carpets to another party. If you look at section 68 and 109 of the Constitution, they talk about members of the National Assembly, members of the state houses of assembly. If they have to defect, there are three conditions they have to meet. That will mean that there is division in their party, there is a merger of their party with another party, or that there is some sort of faction within their party that necessitates their movement. Unfortunately, these three conditions are not present in the Cross River scenario where the governor has defected to the APC. But the Constitution is silent. The Constitution is silent. The Constitution has not laid out the procedure on what will happen to the governor. Who declares his seat vacant? Is it the court? Is it the House of Assembly that can declare his seat vacant for unlawfully or for illegally defecting to another party? That is a lacuna. Unfortunately, that can only be tried by the court, and then the court can only decide one way or the other. But constitutionally speaking, there seems to be some silence, some lacuna in that respect. So unfortunately, we can't really say exactly what can happen. We cannot leave it to politics. We cannot leave it for legal fireworks at the court. We cannot speak about morality, whether he has been grateful to the party that has brought him to power. But we cannot say exactly speaking that this is the course, this is the legal course that should necessarily follow. So I think I would suggest that the Constitution should be amended, that what is good for the goose should be good for the Uganda as well. What happens to National Assembly members and State House of Assembly members if they defect should also happen to governors. They should be able to lose their seats. The Chief Judge should be given power to declare their seats vacant. I think this will stop this trend of defection from one party to the other, except for where those conditions are met. For the rest, it will just be political talk. Thank you so much, sir.
Incidentally, too, you're from Cross River State, so this program today is Association of Cross River State. Besides you, you're the odd man out. Okay, so what happened to the political dimension of that state now? How do you see the politics playing out, especially as it concerns 2023 election?
Well, probably to just start as a basis for what I'm going to say, that yes, it is. Everybody has the right of choice to say, I quit this board, the change comes where the circumstances are not any more acceptable to him. Sadly, as it were, like Inyobong has said, I shared so much with what he said. I was going to, if I came on earlier, especially as to what the position of the law is regarding a serving governor, as against a legislator who who shifts, who changes platform, political platform, from one party to the other, while still within his tenure. So, but to what the effect of these, the coloration, how that would affect it in the political configuration of coloration in Cross River State is quite very, very adverse. For one, if know that our politics played in this country has not been what it should be. It's not been politics of ideology. It's been
the politics of interest.
Interest and stomach infrastructure or personal gain. That's what it's been. And so you have a breed of what they call it, professional politicians everywhere. There's so much reliance on governance all over Nigeria. Very sadly, I tell you, you go to Cross River, you go to virtually every other state, you have people who are perennially there, waiting for one government or the other to take up one position or the other, who by themselves do not have any means of subsistence. They are not a gardener, they are not a messenger, they're nothing. And yet they tell you they are politicians, and of course, professional politicians. Now, but however, Cross River State is a PDP state, okay? But the irony here is that when I talked about ideology, the absence of ideology, is that APC is supposed to have its own ideology. And even in elections, there's a manifesto of the party. That's what you present. This is what I would do. What you presented, your foundation is of PDP. And you elected on the platform of PDP. And then you made all of those promises and to implement the manifesto of the PDP. So how would you do in the next 2 years? What manifesto would you be implementing? As against members of the House of Assembly, your appointees, the deputy governor and others, who are still of the PDP, who didn't change both with you. So it causes a crisis. Yet right now, typically, I would say, apart from the lacuna, which in a sense I say it's completely in order, but how do you see? At law we say it's a Latin maxim, okay? Expression or news, exclusion or terrorism. Now, if the Constitution has said clearly that it is the party that contests elections, the votes are for the party, not for the individual. Now, you're governor or you a legislator, and you change both. The Supreme Court has come up and only given instances where you can actually defect. And in this case, like in yourself, we do not see that. Even if you had the only issue was the issue of the list, delegates list, and you have also the issue in Cross River of the home factor and the Abuja factor. It's not mentioned, it's also there. These things are in every party. Now, one expects at the level he has risen at the state as a leader of the party, you step back. I know back in the days of Lieli Moki, when he was aspiring with some other people, and then he was chosen, or handpicked and made governor. We saw all of these things. Now, you had an opportunity. It was just given to you. Now, you had it, and apart from the gratefulness of all the words that people have said, you now, at this point, want to throw the state in a country. That's what he's doing, actually. Throwing the state in a country. And I think the proper thing to do, the state assembly, you see, matters that when dispute arise, and they are taking the courts have opportunity to make pronouncements. I would say if the Constitution has said it is a party that contests election and has a vote, it means the man lacks a platform. Right now, he is floating. He's probably in some cloud.
Okay.
So yes, he cannot. The platform that gave him the victory or the position he has, his standing at law is the PDP, not the APC. So the state assembly should go ahead and take steps.
We have to go now.
That's why. So steps have to be taken. All right.
Okay.
Yes, and then when this goes to court, the court, I'm sure, will confirm any action taken by the state assembly against the governor right now for that. Like virtually declaring the seat of governor vacant.
Okay.